Dudes, welcome to the shit show with Ashley Chapman by Real Estate Uncensored. And when I say shit show, that is fucking true. Greg McDaniel, the best dude on the face of the planet, and Middleton Luke, also known as Luke Middleton, Money Middleton, motherfucker. What's up? Welcome to the show. He is actually probably one of the most creative people that I know in this space of investing in real estate. We've done a lot of deals together. I do work with him on a daily basis. He's probably going to tell me to fuck off a couple times. So, Luke, welcome to the show. Greg,
Chapman Ashley,
what's up?
what's happening? This is exciting. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun. We want to talk about the numbers. Nobody does know them better than you. Constantly correcting me on numbers. But I wanted to let you introduce yourself. But before that, Greg, introduce yourself. This is Real Estate Uncensored as well. And then Luke, bring us back to day one of real estate. Greg, what's up?
What up, Ash? So happy to be here. I'm so honored to be on your show. Guys, if you don't know my voice, you don't know my face, that's totally cool. My name is Greg McDaniel. I've been a real estate agent for 22 years here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We sell $1 million homes on a consistent basis. And we started our podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, 6 years ago. We have millions and millions and millions. It's not a joke of downloads. Folks have really enjoyed it. We're bringing in Ashley and her wonderful cohort Luke in regards to giving more value on the investment side. So I am going to shut the fuck up and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to listen to you brilliant, wonderful, amazing, handsome, and beautiful people. And we're going to learn about investment. So Ashley, back to you.
Dude, beautiful as in didn't shower today. No, for a fact Luke did. But Luke, Money Middleton, I want to know, people want to know where you came from, how you got into the investing space, and your journey into kind of what you and our team is doing now. So take it away.
And Ashley, I wanted to say thank you very much for having me on this. This is real damn exciting. I know it's been something you've been wanting to do, and I think your personality, and by personality I mean the fact that you cuss all the time, is going to be perfect for this.
Fuck yeah.
And so where I started, my moms were doing flips and investments since I can remember. So as a middle schooler, I'm doing landscaping and cleanup and painting and stuff in the different investment homes that my parents had growing up in Indiana. Obviously a much different scenario than buying $1 million home in Southern California, but that's really where it got started. And then over the course of my real estate career, ventured and always just kind of knew that the investment side was where I was best. And, and then over the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, really kind of committed to not being a real estate agent and being more of an investment agent. And then, as you said before, the creativity side of that, I think is what brought that on, and looking at all these deals and figuring out how to make money out of something where otherwise a real estate agent or whoever would not be able to see the several different ways to make money on a project. So, but yeah, that kind of brought me into this investment world, and that's where you and I collided and really kind of took off from there. And it's been amazing to watch you and go from where you were to what you are now, which is pretty fucking exciting.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking exciting. If you guys don't know Luke, I just want you to know he does drink old fashions, not Coors Light, but you know what? That's great.
It's just like Scotch these days. Just Scotch.
Okay, now okay, got it. But no, I want to kind of dive into some of the numbers on some of these deals. And I think maybe a good example is a deal that we did just recently on Titus, because that was with real estate agents involved. And if people are new to the investing world, it is very, very difficult for them to understand as a real estate agent, sometimes the flip side of that, right? So just going from that, obviously an agent brought us the deal. And then from there, what a lot of agents didn't know about it, and the reason why we made the money that we made on it, is because of your expertise. And what you're so good at is seeing into the lots and the zoning and making sure that it is a fruitful deal long term, right? So it turns into a development at that play. But it's actually not that difficult. Can you please walk people through what that looks like and what you saw in that deal when I originally brought it? Because my idea was trash.
so it's right. I think my the outlook on all of these is trying to get the highest and best use out of these lots, and of course my knowledge is very specific to San Diego County and the zoning regulations that have changed over the years, and more notably the ADU regulation changes that have come into play. And so as soon as I see a property that's within kind of San Diego City proper, and I start looking in the different locations, this one happened to be in a new community zone called Complete Communities, which, for any developer, any investor out there, if you know what, how many dwellings you can put on a property, and your FAR, which is how much square footage you can build on the lot. If you have a 10,000 square foot lot and your FAR is 1, that means you can build 10,000 square feet of space, generally speaking. Mm-hmm. And so I think one of the ways to look at it was it was a nice home in Mission Hills, and could have likely been a flip in itself. There was a couple of units. You could have turned it into a couple of units and maybe added some to the back. And in the end, those are things that I look at as a worst case scenario, that, if all else fails, we have to kind of revert back to just a flip, and seeing if if we break even, or, what type of worst case scenario that might be. But if you look at the best case scenario, doing Complete Communities, I know that in those areas you can add, that Complete Communities adds the ability to bump our FAR from I think it's at 1.6 to 6.5, meaning we can, long story short, we're going to be adding an 8 to 10 unit complex on that lot. It just happened to be the very last lot in this Complete Community zone. And right next to it is actually a house that was just fully remodeled, and they have these big, beautiful windows that look at the bay and look at downtown, which will be 100% covered by our huge complex that we'll be building. So they're going to be pissed. But, this is something that I looked at, and I initially look at and think, how many units can we get in this thing? What's feasible? What is able to be built? How is that construction going to be built? And one of the things that Ashley knows about us is we started a construction company at the beginning of COVID, which is a complete shit show. But
complete shit show.
Yeah, but it's allowed us to really have a good vision into that entire process and what to pay attention to when you're looking at these projects, because it's not just, you can't just look at that lot and say, it's going to be $250 a foot to build, and just take that times the amount that we want to build. It's on a hillside, so you're going to have to build into that, and then you got to kind of plan everything around that. Right. So it was something that allowed us to look at what the flip number was, and then we were allowed to actually add a little bit more onto that, build in a wholesale fee on the front side for us, and really get it to a buy and hold investor that we know how they work, and we know what they want to pay. And it allowed us to make some money on the front, and then it also allows us to make a percentage of the net when it comes in, once the project is done.
Right. Now, speaking of numbers, I think a lot of people are so interested in that. Obviously, we tied it up for 1.1 million. And my thought on this deal was, we'll just get plans and permits for the downstairs, mm-hmm. and throw it back on the market at like 1.6, 1.7, whatever. And then somebody can break ground at that point for a junior ADU. I was completely wrong. Obviously, if you're comfortable sharing, Luke, what type of wholesale fee was that, and what are the rents when it's done?
Yeah, so we decided to do a wholesale fee of so we got it to this investor at 1.27. So the wholesale fee was that difference.
Mm-hmm.
And how I run those numbers is based on a percentage that we're getting for this investor. So once the project is complete and based on projected rents, based on again a calculation of what our costs are to build it, and then based on
Luke, let me back you up real
Yep.
quickly for the folks that are listening. When it comes to projected rents, how do you calculate that? Because a lot of folks, they want to get into investments, they just don't understand the lingo. So
Sure.
what does that mean?
So from a projected rent standpoint, honestly, I mean, there's calculations that you can run that are based on a rental percentage increase over the course of time. I base everything on today's rent. So knowing that provides us some upside, because in San Diego, especially, rent just goes up, and there's no housing here, and so I'm basing my rental projections on today.
Okay, so I'm a 3-year-old,
Yeah.
and I want to understand how this works. If you were to explain to your 3-year-old daughter or son, how would this work? Because a lot of real estate agents, we all love big buttons and colors. That's how we operate. Free alcohol and free food.
Yep.
That's where we live.
Alcohol.
Yeah, and Ashley kicks in with alcohol. She means Coors Light, everybody.
Yeah.
Walk me down just very 10,000 foot, what that would look like for someone who wants to get involved with you guys and maybe do some deals with you.
Yep. So how I kind of ran this project was, first I got a general idea of how many units we can do, and that's just based on FAR and our ability to add. In these zones, you can add unlimited ADUs. So I have a projection of 8 units that we can do, and I'd have a total FAR, which is the total number of square feet that I can do. So by that calculation, I basically set it up to where we can have 8 two bed, two baths, right around 900 square feet each. From there, honestly, I look on Zillow, I look on Craigslist and see what those things are going for. We do it so often that I generally know what those are going for. And then that's what I put in our projection. I basically say, all right, we're going to get $3,200 a month for each one of these things. That times 8. And then I back into it and say, all right, for expenses and property management and whatnot, we're going to take off 30%. And then that becomes our net. That becomes our net return per month.
Right.
And then that's where our numbers get built off of. So in this case, this investor is all cash. He's not pulling any debt on these whatsoever. So
okay, so again, third grader. If I was a third grader and I came to you, Luke, because you were talking to my school, how would you explain that to me so that an investor or a junior investor, like, very simply, 10,000 square feet, let's break into this very fast. Because the reason why I'm asking this is that a lot of folks, they hear investing, they hear flipping, they hear wholesaling. They're like, this is so sexy. This is so amazing. They see what Ashley's doing. They see what you were doing, Luke. But they're like, how in the blank do I get started?
Yep.
So in one sentence or one paragraph, how would you get this thing started? How would you explain this to them? So that then Ashley can get in touch with them and you guys can make a ton of cash. They can make a ton of cash and move forward with life and live a wonderful lifestyle.
Yeah. Well, I'd say hire us.
Yeah.
Literally hire us.
It's hard to break down into one sentence because that's pretty much what our expertise is.
Exactly.
But that said, it's very much understanding the zoning, understanding the code. I know that I can do 8 units. I know that I can build certain square footage, and I know what these investments cost. So I just did a calculation. That's $25,000, it's $25,600 in gross income that's coming in per month from that project once it's completed. And then once everybody kind of runs their numbers on whether they're pulling debt or not, that's where their money's come from.
So when you say pulling debt, what does pulling debt mean?
When I say pulling debt, I mean taking a loan out on the project in order to fund it. So most of the time, everybody knows a 20% down. A lot of these are hard money or commercial loans, but let's assume you're getting 80% debt on this, and then that's where the numbers kind of pan out from.
Okay.
So kind of back to like what Luke was saying earlier, just so people can follow that. This investor specifically is actually cash. There is no hard money involved. So the calculations are a lot easier, obviously, and not a lot of people are working with that. So we do have performas for that. But typically what we do also, Luke is extremely good at this, and that's why he's here today. But partnering with these people, we have the expertise and we're connecting them with the knowledge, and we're using their funds, right? So it's a little bit of a different setup than what somebody would go like. It's not like we're buying everything ourselves, right, Luke? Like it's that process is something that is extremely genius. And actually, I think that's important to walk people through as well. First of all, other people's money, and second of all, the leverage, because there are a lot of people out there with a lot of money, right? And they just don't know what to do with it, and they kind of want to give it to you. You just haven't met them yet. So let's walk through that, because that's what we're doing. Literally, I think it's insane. Not any of these deals that we have going on right now, too. We're not putting a penny of our own money into.
Correct. Yeah, and to your point, Ashley, the conversation you and I have had constantly is how do we better leverage these situations in order to keep all of these just for ourselves? Because right now, obviously, partnering with different investors, it allows us to, one, it removes the liability from us. We're just a partner in the scenario. We're an expert, but they own it, and we get a residual from it. We get a percentage of the either the flip or the money at the end. But one of the best ways that has recently come to light in the investment world is everybody knows hard money. Everybody understands hard money. Hard money rates you can get anywhere from 7% annualized to 12%, depending upon how experienced you are. And then they also charge points. They charge anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 points, again, based on your experience.
What is a point?
A point is if you have $100,000 loan and they charge 1 point, they charge $1,000.
Okay.
So it's just 1% of the overall debt. 1%.
Rock and roll. Okay, good. Now we're clear on that. Okay, so I love this. I'm taking notes, guys. I'm taking notes. So
that's a traditional hard money, and usually you have to put 20% down on those scenarios. So we're coming in with these investors who are putting the 20% down or simply covering the entire amount. So we don't put a dime in. One of the things that we're looking at as well is once those projects are done, say we purchase it under our name, we have these investors put in the money. So we're not putting a dime in, but it's under our name. Then we can refinance with this new product that a lot of these hard money lenders are using, which is called it's just basically a rental loan through these hard money. Most hard money companies use this now.
Hold right there. It is okay. That's exactly that. It's not a conventional product. So for real estate agents, this isn't a conventional product. We're strictly talking about investing. So this is where networking comes in. I know Luke had a conversation a while ago with a hard money lender that we know. I believe Trillion Capital.
Yep.
So Trillion backing that up, refinancing using their product, not Chase Bank. So this is separate, but also leveraging to get an investment loan. For people that don't know, obviously you put 20% down, right, Luke?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So Greg, to your point of explaining it very simply, let's use this Titus project as an example. Titus project we purchased at 1.1, and go in and put 20% down, and we do the entire project. These hard money companies will cover all of the construction costs, no matter what project it is. So they cover the construction costs of everything. So now at the end of this project, let's say after a year and a half, we have an 8-unit income producing building that we have, let's say it costs us a total of $3 million to all in purchase price plus construction. Now we're making, $26,000 a month on income, and the lender is looking at just the rental income for this loan. So they're lending you money based on what your new rental income is. And basically what can happen is, because we've created so much value and because we've created such a high income producing property, now we don't have to put any money down. They're going to lend us the full amount of that on that property on a 30-year fixed at like 3.5%. For this rental product. And that's a much longer term. So you basically refinance out your hard money, get yourself into a longer term 3.5% rental loan. You don't put one more dime down, and all of a sudden now you've got an income producing property that's fixed for 30 years at 3.5%. And
okay, so let me ask you this. As a simpleton here, since I'm not the host of this show, Ashley is. She's the master of this, and so are you. How in the heck do you start doing this? Because dang, that sounds phenomenal. I mean, like, wait a minute, I don't have to use my money. I have just have connections, make calls or door knocks or whatever it's going to be, but then I make all this money. Is this an overnight thing, or is this something that would actually? She's shaking her head, going like, "Nah, you a dumbass."
You just Google it. Just Google it.
Just Google it.
She's like, no. But I mean, realistically, I mean, you guys have been building this business for a long time. What would that time frame look like for an investor or an individual to get returns? Ashley, go to you.
Dude, I mean, I think before we get into that, let's back this up. Just a second.
Back that butts up. Okay.
Yeah, fine. Back that ass up. I'm not kidding. When did we meet, Luke? 3 years ago? We met 3 years ago, and I was like, and like, I think that was, I don't want to say the beginning. Luke's been doing this for a lot longer than I've probably been alive. But like, literally, that was like, I mean, I just was like, I was just kind of doing my own thing. And it, honestly, I want to go back to like the beginning of that, where Luke started and formed all of these relationships with these investors, just simply because it wasn't an overnight thing. And it was a gradual build. It was like, okay, here's one deal, and then here's another one. And then all of a sudden it's like 3 years later in its development, right? And that's a journey that's worth talking about, considering it did take a long time. And it was almost like, it was a dream for sure, but now it's turned into Luke's reality, which I think is really fucking cool, and he does so well at it. So I want him to talk about that for sure. And then, how to get into it is we can follow it up with that. But Luke, yeah, I want to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody can assume it doesn't happen overnight, but I would say one of the biggest keys that helped me was putting the right people around me. One of those people being partnering with Ashley on a lot of the stuff, and a lot of you will get to know Ashley through the course of this, but Ashley is an absolute freak when it comes to the real estate world, and what she does, what her expertise is fucking unreal. It is unmatched. Like, I know a lot in the real estate world, and I know how to get these deals done, but it's impossible to teach what Ashley does. And she's incredible knowledge on that world. And so with Ashley, I would say it has everything to do with finding the deals. That's always the start of everything. That's our, anytime we have a team discussion, anytime we're planning our year goals and where we're going as a company, it's always about how do we get into a living room, and how do we get in front of that owner? And that is what Ashley is unbelievably good at. In the end, it isn't rocket science. It's just calling people. It's being relentless. It's being creative in the data that you get. And then what happens is you get these opportunities put in front of you. And it starts off as a one-off flip. It starts off as a small condo that you put $20,000 in, and then that turns into something. And next thing you know, you're getting into these situations, and the state regulations and the city regulations start changing, and ADUs start becoming a popular thing. And next thing you know, we're looking at how to take most advantage of each one of these properties. And in the end, it's all about getting into that living room. That's where you invest your money. That's what you do. That's where you need to be, because from there, especially as with Ashley and I, we're investors first, but also real estate agents. So if we get into a living room, we talk to them and say, hey, here's an offer. Here's a wholesale offer. It's just a lower cash, flip offer. If that is too low, then we say, hey, here's our flip offer. Obviously in different terminology to the seller, but here's our flip offer. If that doesn't work, we own a construction company. So we can say, hey, we'll help you fix up your home to sell it for more. And we make more money on that with a listing agreement and whatnot. If they don't want to do that, we're also real estate agents. We can list the property. So when we're sitting in front of a homeowner, there's a reason why we're there, and we're not walking out without a contract. And most of the time, it's going to be with either a wholesale or a flip. So that makes everything. That starts absolutely everything going from there. And then dependent upon what type of investor you want to be, buy and hold or just flip, you really tailor that conversation to make the most sense for your investment strategy.
Right. So, I mean, basically walking into this, it's pretty simple. If you're a real estate agent, like, Tony just asked, the first 3 steps would be, obviously you're a real estate agent. You clearly do the same activity as an investor that you would as a real estate agent, whether it's cold calling or door knocking. Those are the activity of the steps doesn't change. Your pitch changes. So that is the difference. Your pitch to the seller changes. We always walk in, okay, here's the cash offer. Here's, renovate to sell. Here's what you can sell it for on the market. That's the difference. Is the steps don't change. Your pitch changes, and your mindset changes a little bit. Shift in your mindset to be able to do some of these things. It's really simple. It's like, I'd rather buy a house than list and sell a house, but that's just me. Love real estate agents.
And you hit that on the head. It's very much any real estate agent is walking into that with the implication that they want to sign a listing agreement and they want to make at least 2.5% on the listing fee. That's where they're going. And with us from the investment side, we're very much going in there, hey, we're trying to get the investment. And we're very open with the sellers. We're open with them saying, hey, if we remodel this for you and list it, you're going to make more money, 100%. There's absolutely no doubt. But we're here because you're in a distressed situation, and I can get you cash in 7 days. And if you're comfortable with that, then that's the direction that we're going to go. And so it's very much a mindset change in understanding what you're going in for, versus and then falling back to just a traditional listing. Which
yeah,
good amount of money on.
Let's look at the whole mindset shift, because a lot of us as agents, we just don't understand or can comprehend, that shift of investing. We're like, okay, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, rent, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, right?
drink.
And drink, a lot of drinking, tons of drinking, and free food, and everywhere we can go. You kidding me? Free tacos? Okay, I'm there. But I mean, when it comes to kind of shifting your mindset in regards to the way you view real estate, because there's so many ways to make money in this business. You guys are literally masters at this craft, and that's why Ashley's has her own show with us. Luke, you're going to be a big part of that. And what was that first shift for both of you? Ash, I'm going to go to you and then go to Luke. What was that first shift when you're like, holy Moses, like, I can do better? And everyone's like, nah, you can't do shit. You're like, well, go fuck yourself. You have a good day. But you can do better and make more money. I call Ashley Chaps money when you do flips, because you make so much cash doing this. So what was that mindset shift?
Dude, it was literally, for me, it was like, well, Luke hired me as buyer's agent, and I just said, okay. And then I didn't do that. I literally just didn't do that. And like, I was like, called him up one day. I was like, dude, I locked up a deal. It's fucking wild. Don't even know what I'm doing, but here you go. Like, whatever. And the shift for me was just like, if I'm going on these distressed appointments, why am I not trying to buy them, even though I didn't have a ton of money at the time? So I turned to wholesaling. And so that shift was like, oh, well, let me build up some cash wholesaling, and then maybe flip, and then hold on to that cash for a little bit and start buying, multifamily. And I'm still, in that journey. That was a mindset shift for me. And I think, I mean, Luke's been doing this for so fucking long. Like, it's crazy. Like, I mean, the stories that he's told about being at the courthouse steps and stuff. So it's like, that shift for him was, I mean, it's probably completely different, but that was my shift. And Luke's, I'm excited to hear, because I'm interested.
Yeah, me too.
You know, what's funny is my shift really happened over the last probably 5 years, just because, as a real estate agent, you're constantly getting training from all the different great training sources, but they're all based in traditional real estate. It's all, it's all the Tom Ferry. It's the Gary Keller book. You got your 33 touches. You got all these different things, and it's all training you to work in that space. And I was, for the longest time, beating myself up because, honestly, I'm not that great of a real estate agent. I'm not, if you're a listing agent, and I talk about my buddy Jason Cassidy all the time, or even Seth O'Byrne, one of our buddies. They're incredible at listing homes. They have the entire setup. They do the videos. They do all of this stuff. They have their entire system set up in place, and we just don't have that. And so I decided that, you know what, I need to do what I'm best at. And what I'm best at is these investment properties. I'm best at walking through a house and knowing where the structural walls are so that I can open up a kitchen and move this around. Knowing that if it's a raised foundation versus a on slab foundation, if it's raised, I know that I can move the kitchen from here to there. I am very good at that world. I'm very good at seeing the what other people don't see in a project to make the most out of it. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna bring in some agents on my team that are good at the traditional side of things, and I'm gonna farm any leads that I get out to them. And then we're just going to focus on the investment side. And that has just, since that switch, it has just been, it has just been incredible to see that switch and to see what has kind of come from it. It's been great.
I love it. You guys are bringing a ton of value, and I'm literally taking notes as you guys are talking, because I'm sitting there going like, gosh dang it, these mother blankers are brilliant. I want to do one thing. And of course, this is Ashley's show, so she can direct it anywhere she wants to go. I've taken a couple of things away from this. And it talks about, like, when we're looking at like properties, it's zoning, square foot, and cost. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're looking at cost on cost equals value. Is that accurate?
Sure.
Okay, so there's a simple equation right there. I want to wrap this up right now with you guys because you've brought so much knowledge already. I don't want people to get so entrenched into like the weeds that they don't actually take something away from this. Luke, what would be your number one takeaway from this show?
I'd say it's two things. One, Ashley's a badass, and so we need to listen to everything that she says.
No, you're a fucking badass. That's why you're here.
I'd say the biggest takeaway would be that shift in thinking when you're walking into a project, and just the general idea that getting in front of the homeowner, getting in front of the owner of whatever property you're wanting, that's it. That dictates every single thing that you do, whether you're in traditional real estate or investment. Get in front of that person. Spend your money to get in front of that person, and then everything goes from there.
That's a fantastic point of view. I mean, you have to be prospecting. You have to be outbound, inbound into your CRM and to your SOI and everything else. So I think that's a phenomenal piece of advice. Ashley, what would be one of your, since Luke did two, you can do two takeaways as well. I mean, this is your show, so you can do whatever the heck you want. So how many takeaways do you want to do?
Dude, I think the first takeaway is if you guys think we have a CRM, we don't. And the second takeaway is, something that Luke is very, very good at, and I think people can really learn a lot from him, is he stays behind the scenes, but we both do. I think a lot of the shit that we do is behind the scenes, but
you are not behind the scenes. Are you kidding me?
No. Dude.
That's the last thing you are, is behind the scenes.
If anybody hasn't seen Ashley's Instagram,
yeah.
Good luck.
You were like front of the house all day long, not behind the scenes.
Dude, I know it's really bad. But
and she's, by the way, guys, anyone's listening to this, she's rolling her eyes and laughing at me right now. So I'm sorry. I will shut up. I'll let you do your close.
Dude, Greg's fucking hilarious. No, I think the second biggest takeaway that people can really learn from Luke, if you're listening to this, you want to get started in investing, is the creativity side of this, right? Learning about FAR, some of the key things that were spoken about, zoning, square footage, cash on cash, right? Cost, what those returns look like. Those are very simple things that we can lay out for you in a pro forma, but also to getting creative with these numbers and knowing how to structure it. Just because that deal on Titus, I had no idea we could put 8 units on it. That doesn't, so connecting with somebody who might know, right? That is my biggest takeaway. I think, obviously I didn't fucking know that, but it's possible. So diving in deep, and if you don't know and you think there might be something else, ask somebody, because I asked Luke, right? And that's how we brought the deal to light. Otherwise, I thought it was dead. I was like, I'm not sending in the EMD. You're joking. That's like, I'm going to lose 33 grand. But asking those questions, because your connections, and it might not even be somebody on your team, but somebody like Luke does have maybe a connection that isn't him to get you the answer. So that way you can do more. Just connecting with people and finding those answers, because I'm telling you, some of the stuff that Luke has put together is unbelievable. Like, nobody in the investing space even would understand that. We're kind of tapping into, and Luke's tapped into this already, and we've talked about this too. Like, okay, so you put 4 ADUs on a single family lot. Is that a commercial loan or is it single family? Like, we're like kind of ahead of the ball, and Luke's really ahead of that curve in that sense. And I think that's the biggest takeaway. We wouldn't know those answers without connecting with each other, and I definitely don't. So Luke is, finding those answers. Just ask the question, and somebody's gonna be able to help you. And that's a huge opportunity for everybody, because I think people are so scared to ask and sound stupid. But I'm like, dude, you never know. Somebody has the answer.
And Ashley, I'll give you one little tidbit of information that I've taught before. So every city has their own zoning regulations, and they have a map where it shows, if you think of, I don't know if you guys have played Sim City before, but generally speaking, your main street is the one that is where there's commercial and the highest density zoning. And then from there, it gets less dense, and out to single family home, and then eventually farms. So you want to look in your areas, you look in your city at that map, look at what the city has already provided you. And, in San Diego, it's RM 3-7, for instance. Mm-hmm. I know that that's 1 dwelling per 1,000 square feet of lot. Those are very simple numbers and very simple things. But if you look at it, and one of my old team members, Matt Davies, actually did this right when he left. He just looked at this map and he said, okay, this is the highest density zoning in North Park. I'm literally just following this map and going to go knock on doors. And I'm just going to offer people full price for these houses. And what he did, he just did that. People said yes. And then he turned it into a development. And so just knowing, just simply, they have a map for it. Look at that map and then go door knock.
Dude, I fucking love it. We want to wrap this up today. Luke, thank you so much for coming on. Such a wealth of information and knowledge. If people want to reach out to you, how the fuck do they do that?
MiddletonGroupSD.com or Luke at MiddletonGroupSD.com.
We love it. Easy. All right, Greg, Luke, thank you so much. Everybody else, have a great day. We will be back shortly.
Peace. Fucking love you, Ash.
Fucking love you, Luke and Greg.
Oh, well, thank you guys. All right. Ash, beautiful show. Luke, you're amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Real Estate Uncensored with Ashley Chapman. We'll be back again. Thank you for attendance. Thank you for watching. Give us some likes and comments. Give us a 5-star review on anywhere you watch this. Not a 2-star. We don't want 2 stars. We want 5 stars. But Ashley, what do we always say at the end of a show?
LFG. Let's fucking go.
There it is. All right. We out, Ninja.